single family residence. So this is something that you would normally just call a house, a private house, a detached home. And we will also touch on mobile or manufactured houses here. Of course, the most obvious pro that first comes to mind with single-family residences is that you get the best privacy. If you are someone like me who doesn't really need/enjoy conversations about weather with neighbors and hearing them go about their day across the wall, you will probably really enjoy this. I also like that often in certain areas single-family houses come with your own attached backyard or some kind of a patio or some kind of a porch or balcony. If they don't come this way, you can build them, and this is really important for me, that you can mix that indoor-outdoor living in the best way in the single-family house. My next favorite pro is no HOA fees. Yay! Remember, Homeowners Association does not exist here. You only pay your mortgage and your taxes and your home insurance. It is nice when this is all you need to pay. No HOA fees. Huge pro. Next huge advantage, I think, is ADU potential. Now, this will depend a lot on the area you're buying. Accessory dwelling unit is basically like a guest house. It's any additional unit that you can create for additional occupancy. That could be a large shed that you turn into a guest house. That could be a garage that you turn into a second house. That could be your attic that you turn into a private apartment. That could be a basement that you turn into the apartment, etc., etc. I obviously love this because if I buy a single family house with a garage, if it meets certain criteria, like there has to be enough space for parking for both units and the coverage of buildings has to be certain percent in relation to the land that you own. There are a lot of limitations there as well, but at least the potential of having that excites me, because if I buy a house with a garage, I can turn that garage into a small apartment and I can move in it because I like small spaces, and I can rent my big house, which will 100% cover my mortgage. So, nice hack. And the next pro will be land value. Just wanted to emphasize that you're not only buying an apartment like with condos or a share of the building like with co-ops, you're actually owning the land where your house stands. And the most money that you pay is actually going to pay for the land, not for the building. The houses we live in are not actually worth that much. It's the land that is really precious and valuable. Sometimes you can find a deal where the house is really, really bad, in bad condition, for example. Nobody wants to buy it, so they drop the price and you can get it and just build a new house. You'll have an advantage because you paid less money for that great land that you now own. Of course, make sure it's in the good neighborhood and in the desired area. Next pro will only apply to mobile houses, and it is that they're cheap as dirt. Really, when I first looked at mobile houses, it was, I think, in Saratoga Springs in New York, upstate New York, which is a very nice area. You can buy a mobile house there for like $50K, and it's beautiful and big, and you'll have your own garden and you'll be right by the lake. It's insane. I remember it blew my mind. Mobile house is basically a house without foundation, but living in it is pretty much exactly the same experience as living in a house with foundation, because nowadays they're made really well. They have all the same plumbing, electricity, heated obviously, like they're fully weatherized. Most of them are new, so that's an advantage. And normally you look at them inside, they can be really, really nice. There are obviously huge disadvantages to them as well, and we'll discuss them in our con section. But first, about single family house. The first disadvantage I want to say is that, of course, all maintenance will be on you and all major repairs. Every Couple of years if you're lucky, or it could be every couple of months if you're really unlucky. Something might come up that needs to be repaired. There is a lot going on in the basement, there is a lot going on up in the roof. You have to be fully responsible for it. Not only paying for it, but also hiring professionals to make those repairs, like plumbing and electricians in particular, can be quite painful. But anyway, it sounds like I'm just scaring you. It's still manageable. People do it all the time. You can always hire someone, not do it yourself. But you have to keep in mind that you need to always have some good money on your savings account. That's what I would recommend for sure, because if you need, God forbid, to exchange the sewer piping system, that can be good 10-20K out of your pocket. And you have to be prepared for that. And the next con, just something I want to flag, that it's still more expensive to buy a single-family residence per unit than if you bought a multi-family residence. Which totally makes sense, but also you get more privacy and it's all yours. So it's actually, I think, a very balanced thing. Next cons will be about mobile or manufactured houses. And there are quite a few. First of all, as I found out, it's hard, almost impossible, I think, to get a mortgage on a mobile house. Some lenders will do it, some lenders just will not. It's not like I can get a 30-year mortgage on a 50K house, which would be nice, right? It's gonna be harder. Or there could be higher rate, worse conditions of your mortgage if you are lucky to get it. Next con will be you have to pay land lease. Guess what? Those 50K houses in Saratoga Springs will actually cost you much more, because remember what I told you about single family house? You own the land. Land values a lot of money, more than your house. So here with mobile houses, you do not own the land, which means you just own literally this metal brick construction, but you do not own the land where it stands. So you have to lease the land and pay monthly rent on your land. I would get a little freaked out. I bought this house. I put so much money into it. I put so much blood and sweat into it. I fixed it up real nice, but I still don't own the land. What if the land owner decides to put a shopping mall on it, for example? What happens then? You have to move your house, literally. Just something to be aware of. And also land lease is a lot of money. Often I will see $500 a month. It's normal. And I'm talking like Vermont, upstate New York. I'm not talking like San Francisco. Something to keep in mind, this will go on top of your mortgage, even if you buy a mobile house with cash, or if you already paid off your mortgage, you still have to pay land lease forever on top of your taxes and home insurance. Remember I told you the less you have to pay after your house is paid off, the better, and this is certainly not the case. Next con to mobile houses is that you don't really build equity, which again, if you're looking to invest, this is certainly not your case. Land value does go up all the time, but the house value actually goes down because it deteriorates, it becomes older. So it's not like you can buy a mobile house now for 30K, fix it up and flip it and sell it for 50. I mean, maybe if you're really lucky, but yeah, I would certainly not consider this as an investment. And the last con I want to put here is safety in the area. A lot of mobile houses, if not all, they're in some kind of parks, like trailer parks. And those are not always the nicest neighborhoods, so just keep that in mind if you're shopping for mobile houses. Make sure it's a nice and safe neighborhood. And now let's move to the computer and look at single-family residences in New York City.
We want to look at houses and manufactured. I'm not sure if there will be any, but we'll look townhomes as well. I also like to sort by price low to high because I'm cheap. And also if there's anything manufactured, it would of course come first because it will be the cheapest. This is an actual house for sale for $99,000 in Staten Island. Like, seriously, it is cheaper now to buy in New York City than it is in Vermont in the middle of nowhere, because due to pandemic, that's where everyone wants to be. This actually looks like a mobile home to me. It doesn't say that it's a mobile home, but it's certainly a mobile I can tell, like these white panels in the bottom, this is what mobile homes look like. It probably doesn't have a foundation. That's why it's so cheap, but I'm sure it's very nice inside. This also kind of looks like a foreclosure because there are no photos of interior. Oh, they have rental value, $2,300 a month. Yeah, that sounds right. And monthly cost $1,000 a month. Now this is a good deal because you buy it, you rent it out, and you're good. But let's see. Okay, HOA fees, $545. It could be either lease land if this is a mobile home, or it could be like a home association fees, which include lease land. In any way, $545 sounds very reasonable. Home insurance, yes, cheap. Property taxes, that's insane. $861 a year. In New York, I do not believe this. It should be in thousands. If this is right, I should be moving back to New York City because apparently it's cheaper than Vermont. Principal and interest will be small. Yeah, this looks like a good deal to me. And this is single family house. Like rental value, $2,300, monthly cost $1,000. So you have $1,300 difference, which is your profit. Of course, you'll have, this is an estimate, first of all, and you'll have other expenses, and it looks like it can use some work. But yeah, this is a good deal. Let's look in Brooklyn. This one is fun. I looked at it. I think it's like a boat. It's like house on the water or something. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, $239. I mean, you can't find that in Vermont. That's insane. Insanely cheap. It's nice inside. It even has a fireplace. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. Oh my god, look at the stairs. It's so cute. Oh, it's so good. And look, it's right on the water. This is amazing. Okay, let's see. Home value around the same. Monthly cost $1,100. No HOA fees. Amazing. Insurance, taxes, principal and interest. I still think taxes would be more, so even if it's $1,200, oh my god, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom house by the water in Brooklyn? Are you kidding me? Someone have to buy this right now. Someone who's watching this video, please. Otherwise, I'll have to move back to New York City. Yeah, good deals out there.
Thank you for watching this. In conclusion, I want to say that for me as an investor, the most important things to look at when purchasing a house are rentability, scalability, and the cheapest option for after I paid my mortgage off. Meaning the less fees I have to pay alongside my mortgage and taxes and home insurance, the better. I like to keep it to zero. No HOA fees, no land lease, nothing like that. Subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment asking questions. I would love to make more videos for you and to help you navigate the amazing world of the real estate. Actually, my first rental in New York City was a basement like that. You know, it was ADU basically, because I had my own entrance in the basement separate from the house, and I also had my own freaking subway rats because that was my New York experience. Oh, God, Jesus Christ, that was traumatizing. They lived under my bed, and I screamed. New York, best place in the world. Oh, memories. Anyway,